日本語のサムです。We all have times when we didn't catch what the other person was saying, and naturally this is even more likely to happen when we're not using our native tongue. So today, I'm going to introduce you to some phrases you can use in that situation in Japanese. では、始めましょう。なんて言った？なんて言った？ When you're unsure what the other person just said, use this phrase. The question word 何 is often combined with the casual inflection of the particle to for quotation in spoken Japanese. Something like, "What was that?" might be more appropriate in English. もう一回言って。もう一回言って。A useful phrase when you want someone to repeat what they just said. Another variation is to change もう一回 to もう一度, which has roughly the same meaning. And you can also add お願いします to be more polite. As in English, it's common to apologize when you ask someone to repeat themselves. すみません、もう一度お願いします。ごめん、もう一回。ゆっくり話してもらえない？ゆっくり話してもらえない？ Use this phrase when you need someone to speak at a pace that's more appropriate for you. In Japan, it's common to avoid being too direct by using the word ちょっと or 少し, the latter being more formal. In this case, we can add も to give the impression of a little more slowly, or もっと when you really need someone to slow down. もう一回ゆっくり話してもらえない？もう一回ゆっくり話してもらえない？ Here's a combination of the two phrases we just learned. I also wanted to touch on saying please. I just mentioned the phrase お願いします, but actually there's another word in Japanese, ください. When making a request involving an action, this always follows the te form of the verb. For example, もう一回ゆっくり話してください。大きな声で話してもらえない？大きな声で話してもらえない？ This literally means speak loudly, so it's probably best to use もうちょっと like before. Of course, if you're in a situation that's really noisy, like in a bar or some kind of outside event, you might use もっと。意味がわからなかった。意味が理解できなかった。意味がわからなかった。意味が理解できなかった。These are two options when you didn't understand what someone just said. 理解する is a more polite version of the verb わかる to understand. But in this situation, we need to change the form of the verb する to the potential form できる. Now this might come across as a bit rude if you say it too directly. So to play it safe, you might want to say sorry, or even ちょっと, or maybe point out the specific part that you're having trouble with. If there's a certain word that you're hung up on, you can stick it at the beginning of the sentence with the particle の. For example, ごめん、理解の意味がわからなかった。それ、わかると同じ意味だよ。
Okay.
聞こえなかった。聞こえなかった。When you miss something that was just said, or simply couldn't catch something because your surroundings are too noisy, you can let the other person know with the negative form of the verb 聞こえる to hear. 聞き取れなかった。聞き取れなかった。This alternative is more appropriate when you had no problem actually hearing what someone said, but maybe you missed a certain word or phrase, or perhaps didn't understand part of what was said. That's all for today, but if you found this video useful, then please hit that like button and subscribe for more easy to understand Japanese every Friday. If you have any questions about today's lesson, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll try to get back to you or cover it in a future video. では、また来週。